Well, that was something. Boston College drops their Monday night game against Albany, a team that was 2-7, 61-57. We're going to dive in and dissect this awful matchup on today's Locked On Boston College.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Locked On Boston College. AJ Black here. On today's show, we're going to look at the bad beat, the game that everyone is talking about, BC losing to Albany. We're also going to look at National Signing Day. I have a little bit I want to talk about there. And then I'm going to talk about AJ Dillon, who is having an amazing season. But let's start off with the current game, the game on Monday where Boston College falls to the Albany Great Danes, 61-57. I didn't even know who Albany was before this game, but they get a win over Boston College, so that's something. Well, this is a game that's called the bye game, where BC pays a team to come in so they could probably beat them. And as we've seen over the past 5-10 years, those games don't ever always mean what they actually say they're going to mean. We've had losses to Hartford, Lowell, Nichols, Ooey Pooey or whatever that team was. We lost to the Oompa Loompa University. They've lost to South Park Elementary High School. I mean, they've lost to everybody over the last 10 years. These losses are not surprising for Boston College. What was disappointing about this game was that you felt like Earl Grant had it together to win the games that he was supposed to win. That these games that Boston College goes in, they were a 16-point favorite at home, at a place they haven't lost all year. You figured they were going to put it together and win. And what do? They looked exactly the same as they did against St. Louis. They come out and they lay a dud. They're playing very poorly that first half. Their offense is awful. The offense so badly needs Brevin Galloway because they don't have any shooter at all. But they need someone, and that's going to be Donald Hand next year, that can score consistently, because you have a bunch of guys. You got Mekhi Ashton Langford, who basically he's either going to take a really bad three or he's going to rush a shot and either get it and it'll look really good or miss badly. You have TJ Bickerstaff, who was really struggling last night. DeMar Langford, who seems to disappear for large portions of the game. And then Quentin Post and James Karnick, who, when the team remembers they exist, aren't that bad underneath the rim. But they don't have the guy that can stretch the floor. There's no one there that can shoot a three. And it kills them every single week. And it's just going to get worse because it's such a glaring issue. And Post and Karnick are not good enough to take over a game. They're just not. They'll have their moments. You saw them beat up Notre Dame. But they're not going to beat Clemson or Florida State or UNC or Duke. They're just not there yet. So this was also disappointing for the fans, I have to imagine, too, because this was the big game for the Sickos. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, there's a bunch of guys on BC Twitter who have been pumping this new fan base they're calling the Sickos. And if you don't know what the Sickos are, it's a meme online. I think it was started from The Onion, where it's a guy watching like something really bad happening. He's going, yes, yes, yes. So it's been incorporated into sports for people who like to watch bad things for sick pleasure. And the Sickos has caught on with a whole bunch of BC fans, but it really caught on with when BC actually acknowledged it, created shirts, and then got them on TV. Now, there didn't seem like there were that many fans in attendance that were wearing the shirts. They were trying to get students in there during finals week. I heard buzz that some kids just took the shirts and walked off, which is bogus. But it stinks because Boston College desperately needs the student fan interest, and these guys have done a nice job with that. So to have them go out there and lay an egg against Albany, it just makes it bad. But I mean, you can always twist it, because Sickos are supposed to be into the bad stuff. So it's the most Sickos game you can probably get watching a game like that. So what positives were in this game? I mean, BC came back, but they're playing Albany. They shouldn't have to come back against Albany. On defense, there were way too many easy shots for Albany down low. And on offense, you should watch, if you go back and watch, there were so many just disastrous drives down the court. BC cannot do anything in transition. I don't know, they don't have the guys to move. I figured DeMar Langford could do that, but he doesn't seem to do it. And all the other guys, they seem to just get themselves into contested shots or not have enough lift to get over those dudes. They can't do it. You had, guys just taking, there were at least 2 drives that I can think of in my head. One of them, it was one of the Langford brothers. I want to say it was DeMar. They make a nice stop on defense. They had a point where they were starting to get some energy going. They were getting into the game. I think it was either a tie or they were coming back or they were just getting close to it. DeMar Langford gets the ball and he just he didn't even pass it. He just dribbles it across half and takes a bad shot. And that was it. And then we had times where I think it was Jaden Zachary airball a 3, Mekhi Ashton Langford airballed a 3, TJ Bickerstaff, every time he got down low, he just could not get anything going. So this offense is a big problem. Folks, this is a big problem. And I don't know how Grant can fix it. This is not like some of the older folks who like to yell at me, they should just go shoot more threes. That's not going to do it. These guys have shot plenty of threes in the gym. This is where they're at. And I don't know if they can get much better in terms of shooting than where they're at right now. You can get more creative with the offensive game plan and really drive home that, as Abrams was saying on the telecast, stop settling for these bad shots and get the ball down low, move the ball, and you can get some things going. But they would do that, and then they would forget that was working and go right back to the same crap that was getting them in trouble in the first place. So, just bad loss. In the grand scheme of things, does it mean that Earl Grant's going to be a failure? I don't think so. I mean, it's depressing, but does it mean he's going to be a failure? I don't think so. I mean, we expected this team to struggle. This is their valley right now. It's not going to get much lower. As I said, Albany's Ken Palm rating is 307 or something like that. And this is the last gimme game for a while because it's just going to get harder from here. They have Wake Forest, who is 9-1 coming up next, and then they play Florida State and UNC. So, folks, if you thought playing against Albany looked bad, hopefully that Earl Grant will have some time to get this thing back on track. And you got to cross your finger that Brevin Galloway gets healthy soon. Now, in a moment, we're going to talk about recruiting and get excited about where Boston College has their next recruiting class and why the 2023 class, which is coming out next year, could be something incredibly epic for Boston College. All right, folks, it's college football season. I've been telling you about PrizePicks, and if you haven't signed up, what are you waiting for? In addition to college football action, PrizePicks makes college basketball more exciting. PrizePicks is a leader in college sports and daily fantasy. They offer more college basketball props than anyone in the world and offers all the star players of the Power 5 as well as mid-major players you may not have heard of. PrizePicks offers more props than you could think of. In basketball, you can buy points, rebounds, assists, threes made, and way more. All of you who sign up, make sure when you make your first deposit, they're going to match up to $100. Just make sure to use promo code LOCKEDON. You just pick 2 to 5 players over under on the projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. You could pick mixed entries. You could do the over on Ben Simmons points and the under on A.J. Dillon touchdown runs. So it's that simple. Use the award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. PrizePicks is excellent. It's a great way to play and go along with some of that daily fantasy action. PrizePicks is safe and offers fast withdrawal. Make sure you use that promo code LOCKEDON or to go to your app store and download the app today. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. BetOnline has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues the march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all of the sports action this season. Head to their new updated website or mobile interface to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use your promo code LOCKEDON to receive that bonus from basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 21 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome back to Locked On Boston College. I am your host, AJ Black, editor and publisher of BC Bulletin. I hope you're all having a great Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is the beginning of the early signing period. I almost called it signing day, but it's actually a period of days. It's 3 days where players that are committed for the class of 2022 can sign their national letter of intent and be part of that upcoming class. For Boston College, they have 24 players in that class already, and really, if you're looking at the grand scheme of things, there probably won't be many surprises on Wednesday. Now, I know that's disappointing. You look at these other programs, you look at the Alabamas, the Auburns, the USCs, Clemsons, they always have surprises, and I feel like it would be much more enjoyable to watch, but that's not the system Boston College has in place. For a smaller school like BC, if you follow recruiting, and they kind of go through the same cycle, even if it was Jeff Hafley or if it was Steve Addazio, it all kind of goes the same way. They land kids after camps, after visits, and usually they're done by the time the regular season starts. I mean, look at this class of 2022. I think they landed 2 commitments after the start of the 2021 season. So it was really basically all wrapped up. That's why after this signing period is the more exciting time, honestly, for recruiting. After this signing period and actually the late signing period, when they start really going after those class of 23 recruits. But I don't expect anything crazy. Now, there's 2 names that have been linked to Boston College. As we've mentioned, Cohen Entringer, a athlete out of Michigan, who has a Final 3 of Boston College, Illinois, and Iowa, and he's going to be Wisconsin, and he's going to be deciding probably tomorrow. And then there is Jason Jenkins, who has a Final 3 of Indiana, Boston College, and Pitt. Now, I said yesterday he had been flirting with Boston College. I have some more information about him on BC Bulletin this morning that you're going to want to check out if you're interested in what his status is with the team. So check that out if you want some more information on that. What I like about this class, though, and this is what I'm going to talk about, and we'll lead into tomorrow's discussion when we actually get all the kids here, is these are kids that are committed to Boston College. I looked back at my records. BC has 1 decommitment from this class. It was an offensive lineman. I think he ended up at Central Michigan or something like that, like a MAC school, after decommitting from Boston College. Other than that, BC got these kids locked in, and they didn't look back. I mean, even after a 6-6 season, and I know many of you were very frustrated, and some of you, I mean, gosh, if I post anything about on Twitter or Facebook about these recruiting class, all I get is, why are they signing here? They're 6-6. This is a bad team. They are going to all leave. Well, guess what? They're not. All these recruits, they have stuck in. They've got in. Get their hashtag get in with Jeff Hafley. And I think that's because they see the light at the end of the tunnel. They see where this program is heading and the potential of their own role in the revitalization of Boston College football. These kids see a coaching staff that is selling a dream to them and one that they want to buy into. And I think that's why you didn't see any of them wave off. You saw kids, Sione Hala, he had a huge list of offers. Quan Williams was offered by Penn State, and he's not that far away from that school. These guys all wanted to be a part of Boston College football. And I think that, what you're going to see now is it continue to build, because last year's recruiting class, the class of 21, was good. I think it was in the 50s and on Rivals, and they didn't make the top 25 on SI All-American. I mean, I work for Sports Illustrated, and I talk to the SI All-American guys all the time. They are thoroughly impressed with Boston College's upcoming class. They have them ranked 13th in the country. Now, if you were going to ask me 5 years ago when Steve Addazio was here, would we ever see a recruiting class that ranked that high? And I bet you they'll fall. That's okay. But would we ever see that at Boston College? The answer is no. But things have changed with the Fish Fieldhouse, with the new deal with Adidas, with the new coaching staff. They're starting to see things, and it's going to get bigger, because I'm telling you right now, if you're impressed with the class of 22, this class of 23 is even more impressive. And there's more guys that are higher ranked in the class of 23 that are really interested in Boston College. I can tell you for a fact, Don Bosco Prep offensive lineman Chase Bizonis was on Boston College campus last weekend. He is a 4-star recruit with offers from Alabama, Clemson, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Florida State, Miami, Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Oregon, Penn State. I mean, it goes on and on and on. This kid is an impressive recruit. He's ranked 4-star, but he is one of the top offensive linemen in the country. He's the top recruit in New Jersey. He's ranked the 53rd national recruit by 247's composite ranking. Now, will Boston College land him? That's going to be a bit of a stretch right now, but they're in the conversation with him. He's a New Jersey guy. Jeff Hafley is a New Jersey guy. Joe Daly, their wide receiver coach, is highly regarded. So is Savin Huggins, their assistant on the recruiting trail. What I'm saying to you folks is maybe they don't land Bisontis, but this is showing you that Boston College is getting really good at increasing the profile of their recruits. They're going to go from the 50th class to probably in the top 25 to gosh knows what in 2023. And if Boston College can stay healthy, if Djokovic can stay on the field, if they can play well in 2022, look out. The 2023 recruiting class could be something that many of us have never ever dreamed of. In a moment, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite Boston College players of the last 10 years, A.J. Dillon, and why I think he is in line for a very special end of the NFL season. But the holidays are around the corner and finding the perfect gift is very tricky. Omaha Steaks makes it easy to send family and friends an unforgettable gift guaranteed to be loved. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter college into the search bar to order the perfect gift package. For $99.99, you'll get 24 entries like the world-famous bacon-wrapped filet mignons, chicken breast, sides, desserts, and so much more. When you use code COLLEGE, you'll also get an additional 8 Omaha Steak burgers free with your order. We've all heard about the reports about shortages and shipping delays, so don't wait. Order the perfect gift package today at omahasteaks.com, and you'll get 8 free burgers when you enter the code COLLEGE. Achieve gifting greatness with Omaha Steaks. Incredible flavor, incredible value, and 100% guaranteed. I love their food. The bacon wrapped filet mignon, I had that for Christmas about 5 years ago. It was one of those meals that I got in a package from my wife's grandmother. Absolutely delicious and something I'll never forget. Now you can give something your family or friend will never forget when you go to omahasteaks.com, keyword college. This is Locked On Boston College. We're going to talk a little bit more football here, but I'm going to go actually into the NFL and talk about a player that I have been enjoying all season long, and that is former Boston College running back, now Green Bay Packer running back, A.J. Dillon. Now, Dillon, he is, he's been playing more and more after they, at the end of last season, it was a 3-headed wide running back room where Dillon kind of got the short end of the stick. But Jamal Williams, he headed out. I think he's with maybe the Lions right now. But Dillon, he's now playing behind Aaron Jones. But the interesting thing is, he has really grown as a player. He had 70 yards on Sunday against the Chicago Bears. He's rushed for 614 yards with 2 touchdowns this season. But what always floors me is that he has 27 catches for 261 yards. There goes all that talk about whether he can be a pass-catching wide running back or not, right? I go back to that, and I always think about, I bring him up again, Steve Adazio's offense, where he would never throw the ball to A.J. Dillon, and now he has he's going to finish the season with 40 catches as a running back. That's incredible. But what I'm talking about with Dillon now is he's playing well. But I think this is going to be the springboard into something special as the season progresses. Now, if you've watched the NFL, if you know Wisconsin football, you know it's going to get really, really cold now. I mean, it's probably cold now, but it's going to get really, really cold as the season goes on. And what is the biggest asset a cold weather team that could be playing in the snow could have? It's a big physical running back that's hard to tackle. And, you have Aaron Jones. He's going to be good in that. But who's going to be even better? A.J. Dillon. He's going to become a major problem. And Green Bay is going to head to the playoffs, and they're going to probably get some home games. Look for A.J. Dillon to have those kind of breakout games coming up soon. When you have 70 yards, you're like, oh, that's a great game by Dillon. I'm talking multiple touchdowns, 100 yards, dominating at the line of scrimmage, and being able to really assert himself and to lessen the pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers will be able to do things, but when you have A.J. Dillon back there bashing up, a cold, Los Angeles Rams team or something like that that's playing in Green Bay, that's going to make him that much more effective. And so I'm expecting Dillon to be big. He's already become a huge fan favorite in Green Bay. They have the Quadzilla, the Quad 5. They have all these great nicknames for him, and they've really embraced him as a player in the Packers. So it's great to see, because if you remember, he was so much fun to watch with Boston College. Every time Dillon touched the ball, it seemed like he could break it for 70 yards. And he was the face of BC, with the Mott's applesauce stuff, but with the physical runs and the big games. It seemed like every other game he had a big game. But I think it's now time for Dillon to go national. And he's starting to get that little buzz, but I think it's going to get even bigger. And what might happen after this is he's going to put Green Bay, I imagine, into a really tough situation, because they're paying Aaron Jones big money to be their feature running back. But when you have a team like that and you can rely on A.J. Dillon, the younger running back who has less tread on his tires right now than Jones does in the NFL, say what you will about his tread on his tires from college, but that's a whole other story. But does Green Bay try to free up some space to just make A.J. Dillon the running back after the season? Get another younger running back in behind Dillon, and then move Aaron Jones on and get another asset. And then Dillon becomes the guy for the Packers. I mean, I could see that happening. It makes sense, right? If he's able to do it at a fraction of the cost of what Aaron Jones costs, wouldn't it make sense to go buy, Aaron Rodgers, a wide receiver that could go out there to go along with Devontae Adams? I think it could. I'm not privy to all the salary cap things. I just think that he is destined to catapult this postseason into something even bigger next year. So this is AJ Black. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. It is National Signing Day. It's going to be a massively big day for Boston College sports. We'll have it all covered at BC Bulletin and here on Locked On Boston College. Make sure you are subscribed to both so that you get all the news. You'll know everything that's breaking. If there's any surprises, if there are any shockers, we'll be all over that on our show and on the website. Thank you all for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at AJBlack_BC and follow the site at LockedOnBC on Twitter as well. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube if you've not done that already. If you have a YouTube account, it's free. All you have to do, and it helps us a ton, is go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. The more we get, the more people will find out about us, the bigger guests we can get on here, and the more fun we can have on Locked On Boston College. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.